Hey,
Hey-oh.
just hello, Justin. I see the cute little beaver there. You did a good job. Thank you very much. Everyone, this is Student joining us tonight. I hope you can hear us well in the chat. If we just want to check the sound to make sure everything's okay. If you can give us a thumbs up. Nikki, I can see the garlic, but I need a thumbs up on the sound there, but thank you. We're getting some good garlic and stuff in there. Looks like we have quite a few of the regular people here. So how are you feeling tonight, Justin?
Yeah, not too bad. It's 11 o'clock in the Friday morning here, so
11 o'clock on a Friday morning. God, there's time differences. I've been trying to deal with some Australian time differences lately for streaming and stuff, and that 14 hours stuff it can get a little crazy, morning and night and whatever. For me, it is only 7 o'clock in the evening, but thank you so much for arranging your time so that you could be here. Now, it's Friday there, right? Is it Friday there? It is. Yep. Okay, so you're way ahead. Yep. So you're 14 hours too. So it's very much like Australia then.
Well, they're 2 hours behind us. So they're unless it's daylight saving. If it's daylight saving, then they go 3 hours behind us.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Peter. So the sound is good. So I am going to actually get down to reading the first one. Are you ready? We're gonna find out who the asshole is on one of these. Let me just pick one. Yeah. All right, this one's short and sweet. Let's see. Pull it up. There. And I'm just going to read it out loud. You may not be able to see it very large. So I just usually read them out loud. But because you've been here, you have been a dedicated fan. And I thank you for that. It's so nice to see repeating names in the chat. You guys are giving me a big head. But, hey, I think I can handle it. As I think you guys will all bring me down if I get too full of myself. I would expect you to, because we are all those assholes, right?
Indeed.
And am I the asshole for not wanting to celebrate my mom, who's 42's birthday, at my 18-year-old graduation party? So he's an 18-year-old male. Long story short, my dad is starting to scramble to get birthday stuff together for my mom, whose birthday is in the same week in which he chose for us to host my graduation party, and has asked me to go to the bakery to ask for cake pricing because he wanted to get another cake on top of the one that we usually get to celebrate family birthdays. I was confused about this, so I asked what the second cake was for, and he responded for the party this Saturday, which is my graduation party. I didn't say anything else, as that's where the conversation ended. But am I the asshole for not wanting to celebrate my mother's birthday at the same graduation party as my celebration? With that?
Yep.
Well, I don't know. Do you want to go first with that one?
Me?
Yes, you're here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, to me, it comes down to what kind of party it is. I mean, if it's his graduation party and all his friends are going to be there and whatever else, then yeah, he's not really being an asshole in my view. But if it's just a family thing, just simply like, relatives and a few close friends, he may be sliding towards being a little bit of an asshole in my personal view.
I think so too, because it's like if it's all family and it's a small casual thing. But then again, he's 18 and he's graduating, and here in the States, 18 graduating, that's like your high school graduation. That's a big deal. And it's like it's a part of your accepting your parents are like, you're now an adult, you're going to be going off to college. Sometimes you get a car, all these like cool things. I could see that he want to kind of keep it to himself because it's one of the last celebrations you have with your family that really like is yours. Everything after that is holidays and joint birthdays and things like that. But I'd be curious. I want the chat if you guys could just tell us, like, what do you really think? Because I'm kind of on the fence here with this one. And I know Stu-dent is thinking he's being a little bit of an asshole, towards his mom. But did you notice how mom's not weighing in? Like, mom didn't say anything, right? Because, so could it be that dad's just being a little bit lazy What do you guys in the chat think? You think Dad's just trying like, oh, well, Mom made all these preparations for this great party and all the relatives are going to be there, so I don't have to call anybody and I don't have to get all her friends together because, of course, she's made this great party for our son. So let me just go get her a cake and I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
I'm all done.
Maybe
I'm
like
thinking.
sorry? Maybe like a
Go ahead.
typical male, he was told to do it and forgot that he had to organize something for his wife and then realized too late. And as you say, is trying to piggyback on a predestined party.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So like I was thinking he's not being an asshole. Like he's really kind of, I think Mom would have a lot to say about this. She planned this party for her son. I think she might have something to say about this, but I don't know. But I'm glad you said it because I didn't want to come out like and be like, male bashing, like, oh, typical male. He just couldn't make any arrangements. But it is what I was thinking, that he was just sliding in there with a cake so he didn't have to do anything. And I don't think it's going to work very well. So we'll see. Okay, chat. So if you think the OP, the original poster, who is the 18-year-old male who's having the graduation party planned by his mother, is the asshole, vote number 1. If you think Dad might be a little bit of an asshole, vote number 2. And if you think there's no asshole, it's just, I don't know. Just no asshole, then number 3. And then, of course, as always, number 4 is yay porn. Sorry, thank you. I almost lost my train of thought there, but thank you for putting me on track. And then 4 is yay porn. And, I'm gonna go 2 and 4 for me, for sure. But you're still sticking with maybe he's a little bit of an asshole for number 1? Yeah. Yep. That's what I say. We'll see.
Yeah, I think 2 and 4 is probably the easiest to set my mind at ease without knowing who's going to be attending and such. You can't really put too much judgment on either of them.
It is true because we don't know the size of the party and we don't know like where Mom is with any of that. And don't worry, Crystal, if you can't vote, you can always vote number 4 for yay porn because that's always an appropriate answer here. Yeah. Any day of the week. You don't have to wait till Saturday's mayhems to vote yay porn. It's always a good one. That's why we put that one in there. Right, Paula?
Maybe he's got a Stacey's mum thing going on as well and he doesn't want his friends hitting on his mother.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Figures. You'll save that for Saturday night for sure. It's like a good one. That is a good one. Definitely. He could have been worried about that, but I really think this is more Dad trying to get away with I don't know. Just not doing the work. Okay. I have another one here. This is a female-male situation at work. And Reddit's making it difficult me. All the good ones, like my process is during the week, I go to Reddit and I start reading these and I start pulling some aside and I put them in my room in my Discord and I save them. And then I go back the morning of the stream and I go to look for them and they're all deleted because somebody did something awful on the thread or whatever. I guess I picked the hot ones because they all get deleted. And then I have to read all the way down and go. And luckily enough, the moderators, I found out, always copy them first. So if I go far enough down in the thread, I can find the original post so that I can read it. And that's what happened with this one. That's why it doesn't have like a heading. So I can't read why he thinks they think they're an asshole. So I just read the paragraph here. So I have a coworker that for the sake of this post, I'll call Bob. I am a female around the same age as Bob, and we are both new to our workplace. Since we are both new, I decided to try to be friendly after Bob asked for a ride to his church. Bob proceeded to be very pushy about me attending his church Bible study and would not stop inviting me to his church functions. He would not take a polite no for an answer. Bob would send me multiple texts at a time and wouldn't stop if I didn't respond. Then Bob started calling me beautiful. At this point, I've started completely ignoring Bob. He proceeded to give me not 1, but 2 notes at work. Both of these notes called me beautiful, and one said a creepy message about liking my smile. The other note, yet again, invited me to his church. Last week, I proceeded to tell him how uncomfortable he made me, and that I do not like being called beautiful, and that I do not believe in his church. That worked for a while until today. He sent me a text asking about movies and if I've seen a certain one. I wanted to tell him to never speak to me again, unless it was to do with work, and threatened to report him, but I don't know if I'm overreacting. So am I the asshole? Like, is she overreacting?
No.
I mean, I don't think she's overreacting, but some of her statements made me wonder, like, what's creepy about saying you like somebody's smile? I don't know. How is that creepy? But I guess it's in context to everything else that he is saying. It could appear that way. But
the frequency in which he says these things hasn't specifically been mentioned. More the case that, there's a list of things he's done, but I mean, you never know. She might run into him every 5 minutes at work, and he may say it every 5 minutes.
That's true. And I mean, being called beautiful is never a terrible thing. I mean, but I think it's more the persistence that he's doing. He's being so persistent and not really picking up on social cues she's giving him. Like, I mean, she pretty bluntly said, I don't believe in your church and I don't like to be called beautiful. Like, she's being really kind of blunt there, and he's not getting the point. But I don't know. It is a work situation. So if she's that uncomfortable, I think maybe she should. I don't think she'd be an asshole if she reported him. If she tells him first, listen, if you don't stop, I'm going to report you. Like, we're friends, but we can't even be friends because you're making me uncomfortable. Like, he's gone beyond okay, I'll text you again about going to a movie because I know you only want to be friends. Because he's actually made her so uncomfortable she can't even entertain going back to that part of the relationship. You know what I mean? Like, he's
Well, I mean, I've worked in workplaces where it's totally against work rules to call anyone but their name. The simple reason that it may be your best friend for 20 odd years, but just calling them sweetie or whatever else, it's just frowned upon. So they just it's a blanket cover. It's their name or nothing.
Well, that's probably at work. That's probably the safest and best thing to do. All the time. It's like, Hoot3 says it's creepy if you live in Boston. It's usually a motive, and that's because here in the States, that's where all the serial killers are from. Yeah, Hoot3. Like, okay, and she also said, "Hey, Bob, shut the fuck up and leave her alone." Yeah, I hear you. Paula says Bob lives in his parents' basement with his cat and the gal that he has duct taped to the ceiling. Oh, they're all on the serial killer idea here, which is kind of what I was thinking. Like, he does sound a little odd. The last one where he talks about a movie, I think he is trying to be friends. Yes, Mrs. Cassandra, I agree. I think he realized he messed up, and now he's like, oh yeah, you want to go to a movie? Like, we'll just be friends. But he's already gotten to the point where she's uncomfortable. Yeah. Hello, Shay. Hello, my beaver friend. It's about time you got your fucking ass here to say hi to me. Excuse my French people, but damn, you better. And mods, it's okay. She uses caps all the time. That's not really yelling. That's her excitement. So she's allowed to yell in the chat with caps as much as she wants. And thank you for coming. My beaver, your otter girl. Your beaver, my otter. See, you got me all tongue-tied now, my beaver's unit. What am I going to do? How am I going to keep going on now for the rest? All right. That means that it shoots. It just goes up, and you has her mouth taped open. So it would. Is that about the girl on the ceiling? Oh my God, they're really into this serial killer thing. I think they're all going to agree with us that maybe, for the sake of not becoming his next victim, maybe she should go to the HR department. I'm thinking, everybody's kind of thinking the same thing about he might be just a little overly.
There is a workaround as well. If you got somebody else that you worked with that you trust to be able to be around there to hear it so that they could go to HR for you. then it sort of takes it out of her hands, but the result is the one that she wants in the end.
Yeah. Because it doesn't look like she wants to be friends anymore. I kind of don't blame her, because it's it's a little creepy. I mean, people, I'm a flirty kind of person. I'll use something then on somebody's name, and I don't mind. There are people call me sweetie or, I don't like honey. I mean, everybody knows I have chat issues with being called honey if I'm not in a personal relationship. And I've actually started to look at that a little differently, because I realized that kind of like, maybe I'm being a little too harsh about it, because I don't really think many people mean anything by it. I think I got a little jaded in the work environment about it, because it was used very subjectively to be an insult to me. Like, it was used on purpose to make me less than whoever else was in the room, and it was done pretty much on purpose whenever they didn't want your opinion to have any weight to it. Yeah, because I came from a business, environment, and so I got a little jaded that way. But on YouTube, I got to say that the people that call me honey, like Mrs. Cassandra, who forces me to call her master every day, I have to call her master now. She's gonna ridicule me with the honey, but they mean it nice. It's a kind, thing. It's joking around,
Yeah, every time I hear the word honey, all I can think of is some older lady in a diner offering you coffee.
And you know what? Exactly. A lot of the waitress, especially in diners, the waitresses here, like, they will call you sweetie and doll and honey and babe and all of that just when they're getting your coffee. So you really can't, get too offended. Okay, Nikki, you see what I have to put up with? I say I don't like it, and this is what my mods do. Sorry, honey. Look at it. You see, so you can't even say that it's something bothers you, because it's just like when they told me, oh, you might be naked. So like, I was like, yeah, I might be. And I turned the whole stream and made new intros and outros and took all the clothes off the avatars and said, yep, that's right. You can't tease me on it. I'll run with it. Unless I'm a cat calling you honey. Well, you could be, but I think it started, the person who started this whole thing with me, I think they used it as a reference because of the bear, we were arguing about a bear's tendencies and about otters and bears being mean and nasty in a chat. Like, we're just going back and forth with each other in a nice way. And it just, I just went off, a little not nice after a while, but anyway, so a little off track we got, but so where are you on this one?
I don't think she's an asshole at all.
Yeah. You think she should report him to HR if she should? Yeah,
or if not directly, at least indirectly, get someone else to be part of the equation so they can get it done if she feels that she still wants to be friends with the person. Otherwise, if she's, sometimes when you've had enough, and you just sort of go, that's it. You're done.
No, I know, I get it. And I think in preservation of, not being his next victim tied to this tape to the ceiling, like the one commenter said, I think she really should report him just for safety's sake. And also so that he knows her position was serious, that she was that uncomfortable, because sometimes they just don't believe you. And I just had, here it is. Claire Bear, I'd like to introduce you to the internet. This is Claire Bear. Yeah, I know, Chach. I'm like, you're preaching to the choir here. Yeah, I get it, girl. I get it. I can't be bitching about this shit. I know. I get it. I don't know. I'm definitely going to say that she's not an asshole and she should file for it. I'm going with that. So on that, I'm going to let the chat vote. I think most of them were in the serial killer column anyway. But if you think the original poster, the female who didn't like how this guy wasn't really getting her gist about stop bothering her, is the asshole, vote 1. If you think he's the asshole, vote 2. If you think that this story was actually written probably for Boston clientele, vote 3. And then yay porn is number 4, because I just think that he definitely needs to get a clue. And also, it's definitely serial killerville, and it's definitely always yay porn. And Woo-hoo. I know. What is, I don't even know. I can't even remember how that started. I really don't, but it definitely took off. Oh, look, I voted for 3 twice. It's like,
where's it going?
Paula, I don't know why I don't have like 10 million subscribers, but when you figure it out, let me know, because I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It goes way up and then it goes way down. I don't know. YouTube has a thing against bears. That's all I can think of. It's YouTube. It's definitely a YouTube issue for sure. All right. You ready? I think that they are agreeing with us. Most of them agree that he's definitely the asshole, if not a serial killer, for sure. I don't know. Or a potential serial killer. I mean, you know. I don't, you know what I don't like? I don't like how he was pushing her about the church thing. That, you know, even if he wasn't personally offensive to me, like hitting on me or anything, like it would make me hard to be friends with a coworker or an acquaintance who was pushing anything, like anything on me, like a religion or a personal, any kind of belief. It would make it awkward, you know, especially if you're just getting to know somebody, you know, where it's like kind of narrows the perimeters for where your relationship can go, you know.
Unless it's a cult. Come to my church.
I think so. What is this a movement, Mrs. Cassandra? Am I gonna get like, is that a donation line or something? Don't start out. What is this? Vote 10. It's really me, and she's on my ceiling. Oh my God, they are like into this serial killer thing. I think so. I think everybody pretty much agreed that he definitely was the asshole. So on that one, I think. All right, this one's hot. You guys hold under your shorts if you're wearing them, you know, or if you are not because you showed up like really early expecting Saturday. But this one, I had a lot to say about this one. I don't know. Oops, where is it? Where is it now? Oh, here it is. I'm having trouble reading my own writing here. All right. Here's another one that they deleted. And after I read it to you, you'll figure out why. People got really hot in the messages about this one. And I think I understand because it kept going back and forth. So this woman says on mobile, sorry, long story short for me. Me and my ex were together for almost 4 years, on and off because of distance and stuff. And we broke up recently for good. We still remained close, and I came to stay with him during the lockdown. And he is trying to get me into his current job because he's leaving it so it won't be weird. We sort of became FWB, which is friends with benefits type of thing, and we sleep in the same bed, etc. I straight up told him we would stop having sex if he tried to have sex with others because I wasn't comfortable with that. I wasn't trying to control his sex life, but I just wanted to feel safe doing it with someone who wasn't doing it with multiple people. And he agreed. He said, okay. Long story short, I found out that he tried to hook up with a prostitute last night, and I confronted him about it, and I called him an asshole, and he called me some things, and I just don't really want to know if I'm an asshole for having a problem with it. I understand because we're not together, but I understand if I am since we're not together. So she's wondering if she's an asshole for making a big deal about it. But do you want to go first?
Yeah, well, she's definitely not an asshole. She laid out exactly the rules of engagement right at the beginning, and just because it's a prostitute doesn't mean it doesn't. You can't fall back on the argument. Well, it wasn't really an emotional relationship or whatever else type thing. It still broke the first rule. So, yeah, I definitely don't think she's an asshole at all.
Oh, well, thank you, because I was going to go off a little bit here because I don't think so either, because she was clear about it. Like, yeah, we're not emotionally attached and I'm not trying to control your life, but I am uncomfortable with the idea of having sex with someone with multiple partners. Like, I want safe sex. That's what she's saying, right? And everybody's entitled to have safe sex in their parameters, and you should honor these agreements. If you're consenting to be in a relationship with someone under a certain agreement, Agreements stand, and whoever breaks that agreement without a discussion. Now, had he come to her and said, I'm looking for something a little different and this is what I'm going to do, at least give her the information. They could have abstained for a few weeks. She could have then asked him for a test after a certain period of time, whatever. I mean, there was a way to do it, honoring the relationship and him still having the freedom to do whatever he wanted to do with a prostitute, if they had a discussion. And I'm all for that, you know, because they,
I'm thinking this was a deal breaker from the beginning.
Yeah, she was saying, I want safe sex. I want to be comfortable in my relationship. No emotional tie, but you can't go anywhere else. Like, you know, I want to know that this is safe and protect me. She's worrying for herself, her own, and she has definitely has that right. And I feel really strongly, especially they went through the whole trouble of laying out the groundwork ahead of time. They have an agreement, like they talked about it. So like, why just put that aside? This just makes him an asshole on so many levels. It's probably why they're not together anymore, because it doesn't seem to think like he doesn't feel like you have to have a discussion when you decide to change your mind about something. And that's not very productive to a good relationship at all. I mean, I can't even see being in a friendship with somebody like that, let alone having sex with them. You know, it's just not gonna work for me.
Just as a question, so why was the chat underneath going left and right? How could there have been people that saw it any other way than this? And were they all wrong?
No, it was because they were calling the man so many names. Oh, you're talking about like the thread. Yeah, on the thread, because they were so brutal to the guy that, you know, it was really bad. There were a few people that were calling, like there was a couple of comments where they were trying to say that she had no right to control, because they had no commitment. They weren't married. They agreed they weren't going to be together anymore, that sex was just sex and she didn't get to control like the rules. And they got tore up. Those people that made those comments, plus anyone who said anything about sticking up for the gentleman, they got tore up in there, because everybody, it really was hot about the topic of that's a consent, that's an issue. Safe sex is a definite concern for people. Everyone, man or woman, has a right. If it was a man saying this, I would be just as strongly in support of him, that, you know, she don't get to do that at all by putting him at risk. If he has said that he wants a safe environment to explore and be with somebody, you know, that's the rule. And you owe them a conversation before you go and risk them. It's just not right. I mean, do what you want, people. Float your own boats, but you have no right to put other people at risk to do it, regardless of how regardless of what you're doing. And I feel really, really strongly about that. And I'm going to go to some comments. All right. Oh, so he goes to a prostitute who has multiple partners. Yes. And you know, I have nothing against prostitutes. It could be a professional business. It might be a very clean and tested and whatever prostitute. I'm not saying that because they have multiple partners, they are greater at risk, but yeah, kind of, sort of, because it only takes one exposure and you never know when you get exposed. And I don't know that it's even reasonable, because of when you get tested and how you get tested, that it's actually accurate from one day to the next, you know, depending on what's going on. So there is a risk of multiple partners with the prostitute. I mean, he owed her a conversation, you know, for sure. Austin says he's the asshole. He goes with his libido instead of her safety. Yes, he did. I hope it's worth it, because he's going to be paying for it now. He had it free at home, and now hope he kept that prostitute's number, and he gets a second job.
Gonna go to buy a cow now.
Yeah, that's it. First question is, did he give it a clap? This I do not know. It did not mention it, even though I read the whole thread. It did not mention that anybody got the clap. But hey, that's probably what she was worried about, amongst other things. But maybe she only charged a 20-piece nugget from McDonald's. Would that make it better, Claire Bear? No, it would not, Beaver. It's not about paying for it. Oh, God, you're so funny. And I know you're only kidding. You couldn't possibly. I was like, so a really good homicide detective could be like, takes one to know one. I don't even know what that is, so I'm just going to skip it. Okay. I should have read it first. Best job getting paid having sex, in my opinion, just not for me. You know, if that's what, you know, They're good at it. It's a clear violation of trust and is blatant disregard and disrespect. Yes, say it louder for everybody in the back. I agree with you 1000%, Cheshire. That was my big issue with it. Like, even on a friend's level, when you get into intimate relations, especially the risk. I mean, sex is it's no longer, in this day and age, it is not like when we were kids, let's say. And it is a lot more risky. And you are actually putting people in danger when you act nefariously and disregard agreements, and you don't let them know what to expect. So, I think it actually is ties into the consent rule in some way based on what you're agreeing to. He changed the rules and she's not agreeing, to what he's doing. And I think that also has a thing in with consent. It's not exactly what she consented to. Indeed. So I'm going to ask you guys to vote now. I think you know where Justin and I are coming from on this one. We definitely, the op writer, the woman who wants the friends with benefits in a safe environment. If you think she's the asshole for calling him out for it, I mean, all she called him was an asshole. I think I would have been a little more brutal, to tell you the truth. I think I would have been a little louder about it. And she said he actually attacked her more back, a little harder. So if you think the gentleman is the asshole, I use that word loosely because he's obviously not a gentleman. If you think the friends with benefits who no longer has a benefit is the asshole, vote number 2. If you think they're both assholes because of the situation they tried to get, which is kind of untenable, but especially if you just broke up. Like, I don't know, there must have been, I want to know the issue what they broke up with. Why after 4 years? What is it they broke up over that this still happened? If they were together for 4 years, they must have been able to communicate in some way, right? I don't know. So I don't know. If you think they're both the assholes, vote 3. And if, as always, yay porn is number 4. I can't get this one to number 5. But I'm definitely sticking with him. I don't think she's an asshole because she was clear. I think she was a little naive in expecting that it was going to work. I mean, they just broke up. I guess it hinges on why they were breaking up. She said distance and things. I don't know. Maybe he was doing this all along. Well, I don't know. But if so, I don't know. Uncovering, you know the rules. You cannot put 69 in the chat unless you include a phone number. That's a hard, fast rule here. It's like it's not fair. It's just not fair to other people. You can't do
I must be the only person that remembers Beechwood 45789.
Beechwood? I'm not sure what that. Oh wait, Beechwood, is that
the Carpenters?
Oh, is it the Carpenters? I was going to say, was it Laura from there was a series that was on there. I can't remember the name of it now. I know it wasn't Jenny's because, his wiener is distant and things. Yeah, I think it was. I think you're probably right about that. Let me see. Call me Beaver. Shay, I'm so glad you showed up, but I'm having trouble talking now. It's like, I really am. I'm sorry, Justin. I'm just not a little off my game now because Beaver is really having at us with the stuff in the chat. She's making me crack up as I'm losing my train of thought.
Well, it's probably my avatar's fault.
No, you know what? Your avatar's rather cute. I kind of like the teeth and the hat. But you're from New Zealand and you've got a Canadian beaver hat on. Like, is there a story with that?
Or yes, there is. Well, it's well, my parents went to Canada ages ago, and they brought it back. And then about 4 years ago, I ran into someone, through Twitter, who's also Canadian, and we started a relationship. And that's why, as you can see, as you know from my Twitter thing and whatever else, it's sort of that's why I've got this little fella here, you see. And he's because she lives in Canada and I live here. Mm-hmm. I have lots of little things loitering about, and Louis, he's one of them. Oh,
Louis is cute. He's adorable. That's how I recognize you on Twitter. Because that's how we met. We met on Twitter, didn't we?
Yes, through an Otter News.
Oh, yes, we did. So, and otter, that's right, with the otters. Yeah, I love those otters. Those otters, that group of otter people make me smile all the time. And we got Star Wars otters and otters that smoke cigars and carry like AK-47s. Like what they do with these otter poses, like it's like amazing.
The Nazi otter.
Yeah.
Otter brawn.
Yep, Otter Braun, and the one just Otter that keeps changing his like it's always something different, but it's always like Otter. There's Admiral Otter. There's like there's Vintage Otter. There's like so many, like hundreds of otters accounts. If you guys like otters and you want to see more of them, just go to my follows. There's like so many people you can follow. They all have Otter in their name, but they're really funny. Yeah, water sausages. One of them is named. There's another channel creator named Steve that I follow for a few years now, and one of the groups in Otter Braun's water sausage army is not just Brad but Steve. And Steve is always Steve the otter is always going to the pub and getting drunk and falling down and causing trouble. And every time I repost that, I think our friend Steve thinks I'm saying it to him, but because he starts like liking it now and making comments back. But it is funny that the stuff that Steve's, and it is kind of a little bit amusing that these otters get into so much trouble. But let me see. We have another one here. We are running good. You ready for another one? Yep. This one, what is it today with this word? This word has been following me around all day today. So I'll jump right into it. My parents were loaning me their car while mine's in the shop. Their car has a sticker on the back window that says Jesus loves. I'm not a Christian, but it's not my car, so c'est la vie. Well, I was going to the store with my mother, and we just got back into the car when someone knocked on the window. I rolled my window down because I thought I might have dropped something or another. Apparently, this elder couple saw it. When I rolled down my window, they started with the usual jargon of God is good and Jesus saves and, that kind of stuff. So now, like I said, I'm not a Christian, but I don't want to start arguments about this kind of stuff. So my personal ideology is your religious good for you. Uh-oh, can you hear that? Oh, sorry, guys.
Indeed.
It's very apropos. Your religious good for you. I'm not going to disrespect that unless you disrespect me for my beliefs first. So I just put on a smile, conversed with them a bit. It was easy since I was raised in a Christian household. Shook their hands. I frequent hand sanitizer and I'm fully vaxxed. Okay, thank you for the clarification. And I said, God bless, and left the parking lot. Well, my mom started reaming into me. I don't want to go into the whole conversation, but to sum it up, she essentially said, if I'm not a man of faith, I shouldn't act like one. It's disrespectful to the faith and you're just lying to them. Well, I kind of understand where she's coming from, but in my eyes, I didn't hurt anyone, right? I mean, what did she expect me to do? Flip them off and say, "Hail Satan," and speed off? I feel that would have been more disrespectful. I kind of feel you, dude. I think that would have been more disrespectful. Oh, yes, Nikki, I know, I'm sorry, but I can't muffle that out, even with my sound neutralizers on my headphones. There's no way the thunderstorm is going to, you're going to hear it. And hopefully we keep our connection. My 5G stays up. But if not, you know what happened? It was nice seeing you all. Somebody got bad because I said the word Christian more than 15 times today. That's what happened. I don't know. But I don't know because this doesn't usually come out of me. Mrs. Cassandra, love fish, but not when badass storms start telling scary stories. I know you guys gonna have to tell me scary stories because true story, I don't like this stuff. Like I'm gonna get a little nervous. I might start stuttering and things. But back to our non-Christian being nice to Christian gentleman whose mother thinks he's an asshole because he was nice to them. I don't know. What do you think, Justin?
Well, I've always been a firm believer, and I say it all the time. I don't care race, sex, creed, religious belief, whatever else. I don't care what you are, who you are, where you come from. If you're a decent human being, that's all that matters. And as last time I checked, religion didn't have, have God-given right to only be the people that are allowed to be nice to people. Being a decent human being is something that everyone should be. So,
yeah.
There's assholes everywhere.
There's assholes everywhere. And apparently Mom wanted him to be more of an asshole. I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't know. I don't think he was being overly nice by listening to them. They're the ones who knocked on his window, right? Now, it's not, I can understand Mom's point. If you rolled down the window and tried to get their attention and when said, Jesus saves you, or was yelling at them, and being snarky about it and making fun of them. But apparently he was not. He was actually just engaging in conversation and just not pointing out that he was a non-believer or an atheist. Now, I would not put it out there right away that is what I am or that I don't believe. If somebody else around me is comfortable talking about their religion, fine. I don't feel I have to disclose my point of view on it. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to keep my opinions to myself and unless I want to share. I don't feel that makes me an asshole. I don't think I'm lying to somebody by not agreeing with them right away and start reciting, Psalms and shit, what, you know what I mean? I agree with what you say. Paramount to being a good person. That's our responsibility. Just be a good person, which I think he was trying to be. I don't really think he did anything wrong. I don't understand where Mom's coming from. This really blows my mind. I really don't know.
She's probably cut up that they didn't knock on her window, so she could have got into it.
Well, yeah, there you go. Who knows? Maybe Mom's jealous that she didn't get a Christian vibe. Yeah, and it was her van. Yeah, that's what it is. She's sitting there going, "It's my damn bumper sticker. They should have been talking to me." I don't know. Oh God, that's funny. But anyway, I definitely don't think he's an asshole. I mean, it didn't sound, and I agree. You don't want to stick up your finger and say "Hail Satan" just because they're being nice. They were being nice people. They believe in what they believe. It doesn't mean anything. They were being nice about it. They weren't being that pushy or anything.
Because sometimes you've just got to say what you got to say to move people on as quickly as you can. We've all been there. Bumped into it. Doesn't have to be a religious person. Sometimes people stop you for anything. Donating to something or whatever else, and you just make nice conversation, whatever else, so you can get your ass out of there as quickly as you possibly can.
Exactly. And you don't need to be rude about it. It's just being, I mean, I don't mean take any shit or, have them like the other guy who was being so pushy about, you got to go to my church, you got to do this, or do then you say something, you say, I'm not interested, or but you don't have to be mean about anything. I mean, it wasn't a political debate. Let's put that. It wasn't even a religious debate. They weren't there, debating on whether God exists at the time. I don't know what Mom's problem is, but I don't know. But apparently, she had one. And I just don't know exactly what it was. But if you think that the OP, the original poster, is the asshole, the gentleman who was just nice to a bunch of Christians, even though he's an atheist, in Mom's van, who is obviously a Christian and has raised him somewhat in the beginning as being Christian, maybe that's her problem. Maybe she just really is upset he's an atheist. I don't know. Right. I don't know. Maybe that could be the point. Wait. That could be the point. You think Mom was being passive aggressive about, well, if you're going to be an atheist and shove it in all our faces, then you got to be out there and be an atheist, own your atheism. Maybe she was trying to say you can't, if you're proud of it, say it. Because you do it, you're torturing all of us and breaking my heart by, not believing the way I believe, kind of thing. And yet when he was confronted with strangers who believed, he didn't put it out there. But that's not fair either of Mom, because of course you're different with your family than you are with strangers.
Indeed.
Well, so I don't know. If you think the original poster is the asshole, the gentleman driving Mom's van with the Jesus Saves sticker, being nice to Christians, even though he doesn't believe, vote
Do you reckon
one.
he was out buying a birthday cake?
Yeah. Yeah, right. And then, damn, I wouldn't want to have my party with mom if she was like that anyway. So I would stick with it. I would go right back to it. But if you think mom is a bit of an asshole for really reaming into him about being nice to Christians, even though he doesn't believe in God, then vote number 2. If you think they're both assholes, because actually, this is a good one. If you think they're both assholes because he obviously made this story up, this can't be true, because I can't believe mom attacked him like that just because he was nice to someone. You'd think you'd want your child to be nice to strangers. I don't know. I think it's made up. If you think it's made up too, vote number 3. Then number 4 is like yay porn. It's like, I don't know. Mrs. Cassandra, I saw you asked me about Sandy, and that was a terrible storm that we had here on the East Coast in the United States. And I was without power for 2.5 weeks, and we cooked on camping stones and we ran a generator, but I still had internet and cable TV because we ran the generator with one line to the freezer, one light, and the cable, like our line in for our service. So, it went like that for 2 weeks. It was like indoor camping for a while. We had like a camp stove and,
glamping.
Yeah, it was a long time to get the grid back together here on the East Coast. We didn't flood out where I am because I'm currently a little farther inland than I was years ago. But so I didn't have as much flooding. But the shore got completely ripped up. All of the resorts and all of the beach towns that I grew up in were devastated. And they are just now getting to a point where you can't tell where Sandy had demolished things. I mean, it took a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rose,
yeah. I'm sorry. Say that again.
I'm surprised they didn't call the storm Snooky.
Yeah, they could. They could have. They think of these really like nice, names. I mean, they go through the alphabet, right? A to Z, like in order.
Male, I think it normally goes male, or female, male, whatever it is, but they normally alternate the sex as well, I believe.
I'm not buffering here, uncovering. I don't hear it. I hear Justin very clearly, and I think if I was buffering, he'd be going in and out on me, and he's not, so I'm hoping it's okay.
You did have a little for about half a second once, so. Maybe
that was some of the thunder, or I don't know. In Texas, our country shut down here during the ice storm, but since we know how to deal with cold, we were the only ones without a generator too. Because Texas doesn't really get as icy cold, right? Yeah, you hear it? Oh gosh, I'm sorry, guys. It's so distracting. It used to be. Yeah. Aaron is saying that it used to be only female names when they did hurricanes, because that makes sense, right? They're not hurricanes. Like, it used to be only female names for a while there, but now it is, like you said, it's like every other, because there was Andre and there was this, and then they name tropical storms now too, and now they keep the name as it turns into a hurricane and goes back. Like, they just change what they call it. They don't give it a whole new name. Everybody's talking about the storm now instead of, hey, Aaron, I heard you owe me a phone number because you put 69 in the chat. The mods turned you in. They turned you in. You owe me a phone number. I don't know. It's not, I don't know. It is going to get loud because it's raining harder and harder and the wind just picked up, but hopefully we won't lose our signal. But we have time to do, I think, one more. You good for that, Justin, before?
Oh, I can keep going.
Oh, good. Okay, well, let's do one more. I don't want to go. My friend who has a channel, Dottie Morgan, is going live like right after this. There was a little scheduling snafu, so I don't want to go too long because I want everybody, we share a lot of subs. I want them to be able to go over there. She was kind enough to move it when we realized we had a conflict, so I appreciate that. And I don't want to go into her time. But I am enjoying my time with you, and I hope that you will come back again and we can do it again. Yeah, so we'll have more time.
I haven't offended anybody yet, so yeah.
Well, that's the way to get an invite back. You said yet. We will have to bring you back so you can insult somebody. That'll be if that's what you want to do. You just come back. You just go slide in the DMs and tell me when we can reschedule again. We'll get you to insult somebody because it's not a true AITA stream unless somebody gets offended somewhere. Usually it's somebody. It's who gets offended? The people who are watching who aren't even in the chat, who aren't even participating or enjoying it or whatever. They will like slide in my DMs like a couple of days later about something that was said. And it's usually something stupid. I just ignore most of it. Have a nice day. Well, I'm sorry you thought that's what I meant. It wasn't, but have a nice day.
Yeah. You may think you know what you thought I said, but I don't think you realize that what I said was not really what I meant.
And what's worse than that is when you try to explain what you said to them and they're like, no. Then they go, no, that's not what you meant. And I'm like, what?
Guess one.
Like, wait a minute. You actually know better than what I meant? Like, that's when the conversation stops. I'm like, oh, okay. Have a nice day. See you later.
I posted something on Twitter about gaslighting. You can look, DM to you.
Oh, good. Yeah, it is you know what? That's a subject I want to cover in conversations with my Avatar Live series about gaslighting and manipulation. There is so much of it on Twitter. I could do it for the rest of my life, once an hour a week, just showing Twitter feeds where people try to do this. It's insane. It's insanity. It's absolute insanity what's going on there. But back to the assholes. Here we go. This is also a copy of a deleted post because every time I find one I like, it gets deleted. And now they're just announcing it. My husband, 32 years old, and I, 22-year-old female, recently moved into a 2-bedroom apartment with our cats. One room is mine and the other is his, mostly because we have different aesthetics. We still sleep in one room though. So if we have guests staying over, his guests can stay in his room and vice versa. When I say guests, I mean family or friends. We both at least know. At least I thought so. Today, he tells me that his friend will be staying over at our place for 4 days. Wants to see if he wants to live in our city and potentially become a real estate client for my husband. He says he and this guy have been gaming buddies for years, but they have never met in real life. I don't know this guy. Never even talked to him. I'm concerned for my cats, myself, and the apartment. My husband says he's a good guy, but he really isn't the best judge of character, as I've seen from past experiences. And I feel like I'm being gaslighted. He keeps saying I'm being ridiculous. He didn't think I'd react this way, and I'm being crazy. I don't think I'm being crazy or whatever at all. But let me be more objective, so I'm posting here. So please let me know. Am I an asshole? Am I being ridiculous? There's not a lot of information there, right? I mean,
no. Yeah. Well, I'm leaning towards the husband probably being more of an asshole than her. I mean, this guy could be, for all we know, the greatest person to ever walk the earth. But because he's never met him, and she's never met him, and he's going to be living in your house for 4 years, and she's your wife.
Right.
I feel that perhaps he's being a little bit inflexible. I mean, what's wrong with this guy? This guy staying a night and then going to a hotel another time, or just coming over for dinners whilst he stays somewhere else. Why does he have to be in your house?
True. Well, it could be finances, and actually, the husband could have just offered, and then maybe they thought it was a good idea. But I do agree with most of what you're saying. You're being very politically correct about not calling her an asshole. I'm just going to call her a fucking asshole. Only because it pissed me off the way she put her cats before anything else. Before her own safety and the apartment, she said, my cats. And I'm like, okay, I have issue here. She's either making this whole thing up and making it a big deal, or she just is, I don't know. He's known him for 4 years. And I just know from experience, I have friends who are on the internet, and I may not have been face to face with them. Some of them are such good friends that I've had medical issues with them. We talk about children. We talk about personal stuff. We stuff I don't even talk about. Some of the acquaintances I have around me that I can touch, you say in real life. But here's the thing for me, and this is probably a whole nother stream. what actually is the definition of in real life? Is in real life what matters to you on a daily basis and who you're interacting the most with all the time and what you're sharing with? And like, does the internet really factor? Like, when did in real life become if I can knock you upside the head or not, or share a Coke with you? In real life is like in your real life, like in your day-to-day life. And since the pandemic, many of us, our in real life has changed. It is not all outside and with a whole bunch of people and all over the world. And some of our relationships have gotten closer with people that we've never seen face to face. I mean, we may see them on phone calls face to face, but I mean like touching face to face, like I could touch your head or you could touch my shoulder. But does that mean that it's not a real relationship, or it's not like you don't know that person, or you don't understand that person or trust that person? I don't know. I don't think you should have to share banking information on the internet to develop relationships. I have friends. I have very close friends that I can talk to about anything, that if I got upset about something and I picked up the phone, they would be there. You know, and people will say to in some way that's not real life, but to me it's my real life. You know what I mean? Like it's how things have changed, you know?
I've got I used to have lots of friends that I met online through gaming, and had for many years. And yeah, I don't know. It's gaming, a bit different in my point of view. It's not like talking constantly on in real online and whatever else outside of the game setting, where because when you're gaming, you're normally just talking about the game. So it's just, that's why I'm sort of a wee bit, I don't, but then again, she's a wee bit of an asshole.
She's a bit of an asshole. She's really not like, she's not making me sympathetic to her. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. I didn't like the in real life,
It might be a yay porn situation for me.
It could be, it's always a yay porn situation for me because, a lot of times it just brings up an issue that like, it just hits me a different way. I'm sure this poster didn't mean for me to like worry about how she used the term IRL, but that's what struck me about the post, that to me.
Well, yeah. And perhaps he spends more time online gaming with this buddy he's never met than he does with her.
There you go. Another passive-aggressive move from a partner who refuses to communicate the real issue, which is a pet peeve of mine, which most of the time is what happens in these AITAs. People just don't talk about what really, really could be the issue that they are. No, Mrs. Cassandra, I am not a wet bear. Because it's raining outside and I'm definitely inside. No, I am currently not a wet bear. Not right now. Talk to me Saturday. Talk to me Saturday, Mrs. Cassandra.
And also the age difference, which was one of the first things that cropped up to me. The fact that she's 22 and he's 32. Sort of bends me a little bit more to your perspective that perhaps she's an asshole.
Not wanting to share, like needing more attention and not really mattering what type of attention it is. So she get better attention being a more communicative partner about really what's going on. I don't really think she's really afraid of this guy showing up, to tell you the truth. No,
because in my personal experience, and I'll probably offend somebody, I don't like to spend much time. If you're not over 30 or mid 30s, I still tend to find that that's sort of out of my realm of females. I just find that it's until you get there, you don't really know what you want or where you're going or anything else. So hopefully I've offended somebody.
Well, you may have, but you didn't offend me, because you have a right to decide what you want in a partner. And if you think that women over the age of 30 are going to be more able to communicate you in a way that you can understand and that are more forthcoming with what they want and need and what you both can offer each other.
Normally the games have stopped.
Oh, I know plenty of women over the age of 30 that they're just professional game players. Oh my God, that's ridiculous. And I've read plenty of these threads where the women, no matter what age they were and the men are just into all that game playing and not talking and all of that other stuff, which is why I do these threads, because it's entertaining to see how absolutely ridiculous that they can be about some of this stuff. But I agree with you. I don't really put an age on it. I just want someone who can communicate with me on a level where they're just being real about who they are, what they want, what their interests are, and there's a connection. You meet, and that's what I have with my partner, like a real connection. It's not just the physical thing. It's your brain, it's your heart, it's your everything. And if you're lucky enough, you meet someone that checks off all those boxes and allows you to be you. Because that's another thing. A lot of younger people will get into a relationship and they like how you are, and that's what attracted you to them. And then all of a sudden you need to change because they can't handle it because other people like the way you are too. That's crazy to me. That just drives me absolutely. That's happened to me more than once. It drives me absolutely out of my mind. It's like, hey, Mrs. Cassandra, you marry your best friend if you can, because we all get old and certain things are going to stop working. So you want to be able to talk because it might be what you have. Mm-hmm. And even on that note, you have to be able to be together in silence, was a very important part too. Not to be stimulated by all the outside noise and all the things going on. Then you really found somebody. At least in my opinion, as a humble bear. I'm not trying to preach to you people about this stuff, just a little bit. But as a little humble bear, that's what I found. It works for me. And the age difference. And I want to know, at 32 years old, that's very common for people to still be playing video games and having video game relationships. A lot of these video games take years, and they keep coming out with more what do you call releases, like updates to it, and over and over and over again, and so they develop these relationships, these groups, and they're long terms. I think 4 years knowing somebody on the internet, even just gaming, which I'm sure takes more than an hour or two a day when you get involved. I think that's an ongoing relationship. I think you might know that guy. So we'll vote so we can finish up here. I think that the writer, I'm going to do my first number 1 and my number 4. If you think the operator, the female, is in this story who does not want the friend to come and stay with them is the asshole, vote number 1. If you think the husband is the asshole because he still wants the friend to come and thinks she's being ridiculous and he doesn't really want to hear her concerns, which was a little bit of an issue for me, but still, he had his right to his opinion, then that would be number 2. Number 3, if they're both assholes, because it could be that, because they both don't seem to be communicating very well here. And then number 4, as always, yay porn. I see a lot of 1s.
3.
Yep, I think it's number 1. Yep. I am sorry to hear that, Sincere. That is a tough thing to go through. I definitely say number 1 and number 4. And then on that, I want to thank you so much, Justin, for being here. I'm glad we worked it out and we could do the timing and everything. And I hope we can, again, find another time that we can be together.
Well, this works well. This is a good time, as I say, because I work nights on the weekends. So Friday is normally when the majority of my work week starts. Mm-hmm. So this works well. Gets me up, started.
Mm-hmm. And as you see, the chat does like this time. We had a pretty bunch of people in there for a while, so that's good. So we'll do it again soon. And again, I'm going to thank you so much. When I put the outro on, you'll be able to go chat with people a little bit. It gives us a little time to catch up with everybody in the chat. But it will mute our mics. And then I'm going to leave the internet because of the storm. So I will be talking to you in DMs. And thank you so much for being here, Stu-dent. It was really a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So I hope you will come back again soon. All right. So on that, I'll see you in the chat.
Bye.